proudest day, and the proudest time, and the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears, the Rally podcast, the 2025 season. Please like, share, rate, subscribe. On my own once again this week, so it'll be kept. The talk will be kept in between the chats. So what can we say? What a fantastic weekend for Irish Rally, and last weekend was fantastic results in the ERC. The Ulster Rally Tarmac Championship headed up. The Callan Devine was declared the winner of the Tarmac. Brilliant to see, 2 times winner, and what a year. He's had 4 wins out of 4 starts. Brilliant. And then the ERC, then John Armstrong and Shane Byrne taking a fantastic second overall behind Jan Kompecki. That's as good as a one in my books. And taking a fantastic one in the Junior ERC was Craig Rahill and Conor Smith. What a fantastic performance by them. And unfortunately, Keelan Grogan, who was in the mix for the one as well, he suffered a couple of punctures which just knocked him down, but showed great pace there as well. And then Casey J. Coleman and Lurkin Moore in the Rally 3 Fest as well, taking a well-deserved victory in that category. Absolutely brilliant. And then the ALMC, Josh Moffat out in the Skoda for the first time. He'd hired the car to try it out, took the one. Eddie Doherty nipped him in power stage points, so that the national championship is still wide open, so it's going to be interesting to see how that fares out now in the next couple of rounds. So this episode here, we're going to talk, first of all, we're going to talk to Craig Rahill and Conor Smith about their fantastic one. Just delighted for the two boys, over the moon for that. We'll then talk to Osian, Pryce and Andy Hayes and their fantastic second place in the Ulster Rally, and that was for them as a kind of a build up then to get Rally Ceredigion now, which is going to take place in a few weeks' time, the latest instalment of the BRC and also the ERC there as well. And then finally, Aidan Long joins us then, going to tell us a wee bit about Rally Masters that's coming up in the next few weeks, and I think that's going to be very exciting. There's a lot of very good plans coming in for it there now too, so be interesting to hear Aidan and all he has to say about that. But first of all, let's hear from our latest Junior ERC winners, Craig Rahill and Conor Smith. Craig, does it still sound a bit surreal that you are the winner of the Barum Zlin Junior Rally?
Yeah, it still probably hasn't sunk in properly yet, but yeah, just an absolute dream come true. It's just still hard to wrap my head around it. Yeah, look at when we went there that weekend, we were just kind of hoping maybe for another podium again. Little did we think that by the end of the weekend we'd be standing on the top step. Like it's pretty surreal, and you know it's just a really, really tricky rally. Like it's probably the closest rally we've done this year to like that's similar to Irish stages. You know, it's very bumpy, very narrow, and that. But the major difference out there is the speed. Just the pace is crazy. Like there's no chicanes out there. It's just as hard as you can go in fifth gear through a forest. And if you put a foot wrong, it'll be a massive off. Like so, everything just has to be so calculated, and it's just all about keeping your nose clean. And you know, thankfully that's what we done. We kept our noses clean and found a steady enough pace, and yeah, we just everything kind of fell into place. You know, unfortunately, a few boys around us had a few issues and punctures and that, and it just we just kept our noses clean and ended up first at the end of the weekend, and yeah, just over the moon.
Yeah, and then you know, before the event, you've changed manufacturer, and you know the team running the car and all. Very brave step, but to step into a Lancia, like I'm of an era that Lancia was rallying. Like, how special was that to step into that car?
Yeah, just such an iconic brand. Like to just even say I'm driving a Lancia is it sounds mad. Like it's and I guess even more special now to be the first the first driver to bring the Lancia name to the back to the top step of the podium for nearly over 30 years. I think it was 1993 was the last time a Lancia won a European rally. So you know, to be the first person to do that in over 30 years, it's really special. And yeah, as you say, it's such a iconic brand. Like it's all the Group B area and everything. That's all you think of is Lancia, and yeah, it's just really cool to be driving one of them.
Yeah. And Conor, like from your point of view too, like you're as much as a winner as Craig too. Like it's a team effort and it's a huge commitment from both sides of the car.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at, as I was saying to Craig, like the amount of work that actually goes into the event before the rally even started Friday night is crazy. Um, Look at, we had the work done. Everything was going well before the rally started Friday night, and as Craig said, we knew we had a good chance of getting a podium, but we didn't fully realize we probably didn't back ourselves to be on the top step though. But look at, it was a good week. A good week. It was a good week. And the car was good as well. So.
And Conor, like I'd say, even never mind a good week, I would say you had a week's work done before you ever even left Dublin Airport.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, in fairness, like when you go abroad rallying, like the amount of work that goes into every event is crazy. Hours upon hours before you even step on that flight to go across, wherever it may be. And in fairness to MI Academy, like they had us well prepped. They had us well prepped before we even ever went out to our first international event. Like the work that they showed us that has to be done. Was done, and only for it now you'd be going out there and you'd be kind of half lost if it wasn't done. Like, so yeah, no, it's good, it's enjoyable work.
That's for sure. And Craig, like one of the other challenges I suppose out there is to your limit to your tyres as well. You have so many tyres to keep you going over the weekend, so a lot of it's about tyre management and tyre strategy too. And like that's new to you this year. Is that something you feel that you're getting a handle on now?
Um, yeah, I suppose it definitely plays a massive part out there. Like we only have 12 tires for the whole weekend, so you're doing about 110 kilometers per day, or not around 100 kilometers a day, and you have to try and do that with only six tires. So it's you definitely have to have tire management in the back of your head, because you can't just go flat out every stage and ate the tires off it, because you're not going to have tires then when it comes to the end of the weekend. And I suppose that's why when we first joined the academy like 2 years ago, they were always on about tire plan and tire plan. I never really understood it for Irish rallying, but when you get out to Europe now and you see like how important it is, and you have to have a strategy in place, because it's so important out there. Like I suppose in fairness, Barum wasn't as bad as Rome. Rome definitely, you had to have a lot more awareness on tire management because of the temperatures and the length of the stages. So in fairness, Barum was a bit easier to manage. You were able to just keep rotating the tires, and every stage was kind of the same length, so you were kind of evenly wearing the tires out. Like,
And if you had a puncture, that was tough. Like suddenly you have 11 tires to play with, not 12.
yeah, no, in fairness, and to have to put me hands down to the Hankook tire. Like we didn't get one puncture the whole weekend, and I don't know how, because there was some massive cuts, and then we also had a 4 kilometer long gravel section on tarmac tires, tarmac setup, and yeah, I was shocked when we came through it with no puncture. Like the size of the rocks that were pulled out and everything on that gravel section, and not one puncture. And like the tires, the amount of nicks we get on them, and you can see the tread and everything, but they don't bust. And I suppose a lot of that's luck. But yeah, it just shows the durability of the Hankook tires is something that's just unreal. Like,
And Conor, like like watching the footage back from the event, the pre-event test, and then right through to the rally, as Craig mentioned earlier, it's insane the pace. Like the car is hardly touching the ground; it's dancing along. Like, do you get that sensation of speed? Does it feel almost speeded up inside the car as well?
Yeah, the pre-event test now for this rally now, it was a good representation of the rally. It's very bumpy, tricky, very tricky, and the pace is actually absolutely nuts. And it wasn't just for us. Like every Rally 4 crew that was doing the test were on a crazy pace, and it's good to know, because that's the pace that's going to be, that you have to be on during the rally. Like, so it's good, it is a good warm up, and it kind of gives you a good indication of where you have to be during the rally, like. So yeah, and look at, of course, the pace is crazy throughout the whole weekend as well, like. But no, it's an enjoyable pace. The adrenaline's going.
And like Barum Rally is notorious, you know, the home of Skoda and all that then too. Can you see now what makes that rally so special? Like they have won it, I don't know, for probably 15, 20 times nearly at this stage, and it has become one of the most iconic rounds of the ERC, I suppose.
Yeah, look at the amount of Skodas over there doing it is crazy. Jan Kopecky as well, a legend that won it as well. Like, look at a wealth of knowledge, and it's going to be a hard man stopped. And the rally itself, the atmosphere is absolutely crazy. Like, service park jammed. Like, every 100 meters on a road section, you have families out alongside the road cheering on, and then you go back a few hours later, and they're still standing there cheering on. Like, crowds at every junction. Like, it was actually crazy. Like, it was brilliant to see.
There was some spots on road sections where people had like set up tents and everything, and they were just there for the day just to watch rally cars go by. It was absolutely crazy, the atmosphere in between stages. There's such a passion for it out there. I'd say there's no hassle with PR out there at all. It seems like everybody just loves it out there.
Yeah,
I'd say the only hassle. I'd say that to get is maybe the stage not going by their house in some sections.
But like, Craig, from like your point of view, like the event was like, it looked just absolutely epic. You know, as you say, like great roads, gravel stations, wet and damp. It really was just a complete test of everything throughout you.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely up there. One of the most trickiest rallies I've done. It's every round we do in the ERC, it just gets trickier and trickier. Like it's just you're testing yourself every event you do, and you just have to be prepared and you have to be ready to go at it. And I suppose that's where all the work with the academy plays such a big role to why we're able to be on this sort of pace. Like, it's, you know, the prep that goes in before is so vital between your fitness, nutrition, and, you know, really looking through the DVD work and all that. Like, it all adds up, and it's so important. And yeah, it's really rewarding when it all pays off.
Yeah, because like, you know, you talked about whenever you won Ceredigion last year, and you could see these ERC guys where they were at, and you nearly almost scratched your head. But now you're there and you're in the middle of it. Now you understand, and now you know where you have to push and where the limit is, and sometimes go slightly beyond that to find it.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of times you're going beyond it now to find it, and yeah, you're just the pace is just absolutely mental. Like, it's, you come to the end of a stage and you're like, right, that's it. I've cleaned everybody in there. There's no way to anybody anywhere near us. Like, we're on the limit on every corner, and then you're like, you could still be 4 or 5 seconds down. Like, it's, the pace is just mental, and everything just has to be perfect, and just everything has to click, and you can't afford to make any mistake, or you're gonna be miles off. Like, even the perfect example of that was Sunday morning. Like, we knew Johan was going to come out very hard Sunday morning, and we knew we had a job on our hands to keep him behind us, because every other rally this year, Johan has been rapid of a Sunday. So we were going for it Sunday morning, and, you know, as hard as we could. And I think Johan was like 2 or 3 seconds up on us before he slid off the road. And, you know, when he slid off the road, then we knew we had like 40 seconds in hand, and we were like, right, okay, that's it now. We just have to drive it home. And we done the next stage, and I brought it back to like 8 tenths, and we dropped 15 seconds to your man in second. So we're like, right, can't do that. You just have to go back up to 9 tenths and 10 tenths, and you can't afford to back off, or you're just going to be punished out there.
Yeah, because Conor, going into that last stage, you know, you've still got a 20-second or so lead. Is there a lot of nerves in the car? Do you have to talk to Craig, or is there a kind of an understanding, right, just keep the nose clean here and get through this?
Yeah, look, of course, we'll be nervous from both of us in the car in the last stage. Actually, the last stage was a very nice stage. There's very little pollution, and the grip was good. Like, so, in fairness, the nerves actually wasn't as bad as previous stages now. And we were able, look, we kind of got into a good rhythm from the get-go, like, and, you know, it's nearly, I don't know, Craig probably finds it hard, or a lot easier to drive fast than he does to be conservative, like, which, look, it just comes natural to Craig, like. So no, look at last stage. No, just go in and get the job done, and
It's nice to pick up
we
a
did.
power stage win as well. Top it all off.
Yeah, because I suppose there is that thing in the back of your head. Yeah, this is the power stage. You don't want to let it slide either.
No, definitely not. It's one on the bucket list, and I suppose our main aim going in that weekend, I really wanted to get my first stage win. So when we got that Saturday evening, I was delighted, and then we went on to get 3 more Sunday as well. So yeah, it's and then just to end it all off with the power stage was really nice. And as Conor said, like that power stage it was really nice stage. I was more nervous going into Rome's last stage than I was going into that last one. Like I just knew it was a nice stage and you could just have a good go at it and it was safe. Like yeah, just really enjoyed that power stage. It was a really nice stage compared to the one before it. Now the 20 kilometer one, it was a lot of pollution and a lot of easy to get a puncture, and I was dreading going into that one. And we were very lucky it was cancelled as well. It was just a weight off the shoulder as well.
Conor, if Cardsburg done rally weekends, I would say last weekend was as close as you could get to it.
Oh, definitely was. Now, yeah, look at definitely was. Look at, yeah, look, an incredible weekend from the get go, and look at, we might have had sore heads now Monday morning, but it was well worth.
And Craig, not only for yourselves too. Keelan Grogan showed fantastic pace, Unfortunately, a couple of punchers there. John and Shane too, absolutely fantastic run. Casey J, I know he's not a part of the academy. And then Ewan Lloyd, we've kind of almost adopted him now at this stage. It just shows what a great wee country we have here. And our crews is like, Jesus, it's unbelievable what we can achieve.
Yeah, definitely. It just shows the pace here at home in Ireland is crazy. Like it prepares you very well to go out there to be close enough to the pace. And yeah, as you say about Keelan, I'm pure gutted for him because he was really, really on the pace from the get go. And we would have been battling with him all weekend, only if he's unfortunate to get a puncture. And then of course, yeah, John Armstrong, it was some result to come second in the forward. Like it's against all them local boys in the Scotas. It's some going to be able to do that. And yeah, as Casey as well in the Rally 3, he was flying at the weekend. And as you say, yeah, for we country we have plenty of good drivers. Like
yeah, because we often say we always say about the academy and what it can achieve and what it is achieving. But the last 3 weeks, if anybody has any doubts, between Rally Finland, the BRC, yourselves now this weekend, we are punching way beyond our means.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. And it's just huge thanks to John Pine. Like it's brought Irish rallying on, I think, strides. Like when you see there in Cork Forestry, I think I looked, there was 40 J1000s. Like it's crazy when you think of it. Like they all see the pathway there. And it's just really, it's what's the word I'm trying to say? Like it makes you want to really go for it. Like,
you can have the ambition to keep pushing on.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, there's the pathway there, and the academy once you're in it, it's great. Like they provide you with the resources you need to perform at European level. Like, and it's great initiative. Like,
yes, for sure. And Conor, for you, a wee bit closer to home, the ALMC rally, yeah, and all our old mucker years, a man that has toured you about. Gary Kieran, fantastic to see Gary hitting a rich vein of form there on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I was more delighted winning leading the rally Sunday or seeing him leading the rally after the first loop over there. So yeah, it was a long time coming, but in fairness to him, he deserved a good run. Like, so, yeah, I know. Fuzzy was over there shooting him Sunday morning as well. So I have to say fair play to Fuzzy for putting in the work with him as well.
Because it's a whole team effort. It's not, again, the same as yourselves. There's a whole crew of people there pushing you on, but also pushing Gary on there as well.
Oh, absolutely. Look at it. Even at that, to be rallying at that level in Ireland as well. I think the amount of work that has to go in to be at that top level now, it's increasing. I think everyone realises, like, to be at that top step, you have to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, unfortunately, you're not going to be at 100% like with everyone else. Like, so, yeah, no, it's good to see everyone else doing it at home here now as well.
That's for sure. And like Craig, for you, like you know, you said at the start that it hasn't sunk yet, but like you know, you are now one of those elite guys that have won a round of the European Junior Rally Championship. You know, you're a Lancia driver. Like, could you ever imagine this a few years ago stepping into your Mark II?
No, definitely not. Yeah, like it's crazy when we're even chatting to like some of the Estonian boys out there, like Jasper, we were chatting to him, and I was asking him, I was like, "Oh, when did you start rallying?" Or like, what were you starting rally? He says in a Suzuki Swift and 1.3 liter. I was like, "Oh, what age were you?" And he's like, "I was 8." I was like, what was I at when I was 8? It was probably tractor mad or something like. But yeah, for only starting there when I'm 17 and to be where I am now, it's definitely well exceeded of where I thought I'd be. So it's only the start of it now. There's still hopefully a lot more to come, and hopefully we can progress through the ranks and get to Rally 3 and get to Rally 2, and hopefully then eventually a Rally 1. But yeah, we'll just focus on Croatia now first, and we'll take it as it comes.
As we said there from where we were recording, what a fantastic few weeks it has been for the MI Rally Academy. Ones at the world level, BRC, and at the junior now ERC, and as well for John and Shane as well last weekend. We are really in an upward trend, and long may it continue. It's fantastic to see all the hard work from the guys behind the scenes all paying off. So, yep, just delighted for everybody involved there. Also last weekend, as I said, the Ulster Rally. Callum Devine and Noel O'Sullivan taking the one. Callum claiming now the Tarmac Championship now for a second year. 4 starts, 4 ones, fantastic. Osian Pryce was a wee bit of a late entry, a wee bit of a surprise entry, I suppose, maybe, out in the C&M Motorsport Hyundai i20 Rally 2 car. It was all about getting mileage and getting the comfortable in the car before Rally Ceredigion now in a couple of weeks. I have to say, mission accomplished. Set some very good times, a few fastest times along the way. Himself and Andy Hayes feel well settled into the car. And they're very hopeful now going into Ceredigion, but I suppose that's going to be another level again. But yeah, let's hear from Osian and Andy.
Yeah, to be honest, it was it was kind of a good move really, because Ceredigion is obviously my home event, and I obviously want to do quite well there. But the obvious choice really was to go and do an event before, just to see where we're at in terms of pace. And the last time I drove a car or Rally 2 car on tarmac competitively was Ceredigion, almost 12 months ago. So it was good to get back into it. And as everybody knows now, the level in the Irish tarmac is so high. It's a good wake up call for somebody like me who's looking to knock all that rust off of 12 months.
Because we've talked before, you often said you want to come over here and try and do a few rallies, and now you've been over and seen the pace. Now it's not just we're not only just saying it, there is a very strong pace here.
Yeah, I know a lot of the lads over there, and obviously because he co-drove for me, and he's a close friend of mine, and it's something that I've always been trying to do. And to be honest, it was the plan to come over last year to do a couple of rallies. But it's like in this sport, we get sidelined and get distracted by other things, and some other opportunities come and go, and then you tend to follow a path. But I'm still sort of serious about having a go over there, because I've never actually rallied in the south at all. I've only ever done Ulster. So yeah, there's a lot that I've rallied all over Europe. I've been in Kenya, I've been in Mexico, but believe it or not, I've never been in the south of Ireland rallying. So there's a lot of rallies there that I've been missing out on.
Yeah, because Andy, we know how good it is, and it's nice to hear other people appreciate how good it is.
Oh yeah, no, what's called the Tarmac Championship the last couple of years especially is really kind of taken off. I think the level has increased. To be fair to Callum, he's definitely raised the bar in the last 2 years. Obviously, you have people like Keith Crone and Matt coming in, and all the guys, and they suppose pushed everyone another bit, and Callum really took it to another level again. So 4 wins on the trot. It was good to have him in Ulster because that's the benchmark in Ireland at the minute. Whether I'd like to tell Noel that or not.
Well, hope he's not listening. But you got the call up to sit with Osian. Is that something that you aspire to as well? Because you're always wanting to improve your own skills as well.
Yeah, to be fair, I'd take much more of a kick from being second to somebody like Callum, where I've had to fight for it really. I think if it wasn't for a slow start and me being careful and playing a game where I didn't really want to mark the car, I didn't want to put it off, I wanted to learn something, and when you're parked up on the side of the road with damage to your car or whatever, you're not learning anything. So I had a plan in my head, but I knew I had to go about it in a logical way. And yes, we could have fast tracked the process a little bit quicker, but who knows? We could have taken a step backwards if we weren't logical in our approach. So I'm happy enough with what we did, and everything. We kept making progress, and to have that push from the guys as well. That they kept me honest, and literally, like I said after the rally, they made me pull my socks up and realize that if I try, I can do it as well. But I see it sometimes when you go and do a smaller rally with a bit less competition. You might win it, but it's not as satisfying as if you've had a good battle all weekend and you really you've had to fight for it.
And Andy, and from your point of view, a new driver to sit with, does that take a wee bit of getting used to, or did you slot in quite easily enough?
Definitely, yeah. It's different notes, not massively different, but just a few small different things, and just getting used to that. I've been sitting with Josh so long now for 6 odd years that you're just kind of, it becomes second nature, and then obviously then switching to someone different then is a bit different, and then obviously the pace that Ocean's on, it's, you kind of have to be absolutely top of your game to make sure you're keeping up. So yeah, it is. It's tough just to get in, and I suppose all they're trying to do really is get to a point where he doesn't even notice that's a different co-driver, if that makes sense. So definitely took a few stages for me to kind of get to where I needed to be, but hopefully by Saturday afternoon he was reasonably happy with me anyway.
And Ocean, is it like a strange, a new voice in the ear too? You've been very consistent with your co-drivers, so to make a change is a big thing.
Yeah, and I'm always a little bit how can I say, sympathetic for my co-drivers, because I have the way I word my notes, if you like, is not actually like anybody else. I think the only couple of people that I know, well, one person who did like this was Marco Martin, and it's completely different to what 90% or 95% of the drivers use. So for a co-driver to come in and do the complete opposite, if you like, of what they've been doing for so long, it's not easy. But I mean, I guess over the last few years, I have been swapping and changing co-drivers a lot. That's purely because I think I don't blame co-drivers, but I've never had a program in place. It's always been a bit last minute, and I've always been a bit stuck. Okay, this year was different. I'd planned to take the first part of the year off and then just see how we got on. And so there's stuff going on with the Mark II as well. That's obviously planned, but these two rallies, Ceredigion was sort of in the frame, but Ulster was nowhere near the frame really up until very recently. So hence the call to Andy, and thankfully he could do both. So we could obviously use Ulster as a bit of a warm up, which went very well, and hit the ground running then in Ceredigion.
Yeah, because to get the opportunity with with the C&M car at such short notice, and a car that is proven to be quite quick and all that too, so you knew you were getting into a car that was capable of giving you the results. So it was just a matter of, I suppose, fine tuning it to your own liking. Yeah,
it was. There was a number of things really over the weekend. My own sort of lack of time in the car, so I had to kind of be careful and not run before I could walk, and then just settling into a car. Yes, that I had driven. I think it was 2023. I drove the Hyundai last, but it was on Italian tarmac, so completely different discipline. And the car's obviously come on a fair bit since then, but you can kind of tell after a few runs of the test, how you're going to get on with it. And I kind of knew every little bit that I tweaked or whatever, we were heading the right way. We kind of knew we were compromised with a few things, but I mean, that was kind of the whole purpose of the event, really, to sort of iron out those kind of things to make sure Ceredigion goes smoothly. But, I think you've only got to look at the result, really, that we managed to achieve and the times that we put in. Yes, we did drop a fair bit of time on the first stage. But again, it was all part of the plan. And, at the end of the day, I can't be more pleased with what we did and happy that I just managed to get into a car and settle in so quickly. And that's a lot for a driver, I think. If you can get into a car and feel comfortable straight away and knowing there's more to come, that can only be a positive thing, really.
Yeah, because Andy, I'm sure you're well aware, for a driver to jump into a car they're not familiar with, it shows the class of Osian that he was able to settle so quickly. And, as you knew in the notes, new car, everyone's sort of different, a new team as well. And to be able to settle in and go so quick just shows the mark of the man.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the difference, to be honest with you, between the levels of driver. I've seen it myself, with the likes of the real top guys. We're looking up with a couple of real guys, and they seem to just be able to jump into a thing and go, and that's it, and there's no kind of complaint that, I can't get the feel of this thing, and we need another 2 or 3 days, or maybe later on the year we'll get faster. It's just jump in, first test, do a couple of runs and bang, straight in the pace. And I think Osian proved that there, that a couple of stages just to get into it on Friday evening, and then Saturday morning, then bang. I think we won 4 to 6 stages on Saturday. So I think that, exactly as you said, Kevin, that is the mark, I think, of a top driver, the fact that you can just jump into anything in any country with any set of notes and just go hard. I think that's the difference. Yeah.
And from your point of view, the rally that Ulster put on, Friday everybody said, the stages were difficult. No, but I suppose that's what the challenge of rallying is driving to the stages that's there in front of you. And then Saturday there were some real classics there as well then too.
Yeah, well, for sure. Anyway, Saturday night I went down to Oldcastle for the ALMC, and I went to bed and my back felt like it was broken. So that was a mark of how tough the stages were on Friday night anyway. So yeah, look at some people complain and say, they're too rough and all the rest. But I suppose the way I look at all these things is the challenge of rallying is what you call it, is how different it is in the changing of conditions and different surfaces, different stages. I think it'd be boring if every stage is the same, and I think that's what kind of makes rallying the sport it is, be it different weather conditions or road conditions or different countries or whatever it is, and that's the challenge. So yeah, for sure, like for instance, Camlock there is a very, very rough stage, and it is a car breaker of a type of stage, but it's nice to have that, and then the next day then have those really nice quick stages, Bronte Homeland and those, and Banbridge and those kind of stages. So I love that kind of stuff. Personally, I rather that kind of stuff like we had Saturday. There's nothing like it when you're flat out on the limiter and start to hit a few crests and get a bit light in there and that kind of stuff, and then trying to get up and stop for a junction. Because I just feel there's nothing like, I think I said at Osian at the end of the last stages. That's what it's all about to me anyway. So I love that kind of stuff. But yeah, definitely the mix is definitely a good thing. Yeah. And to be fair to the guys, they did run a very good rally up there. And we were just saying in the car, like, it all ran bang on time. You're rocking up 3 minutes later, start your stage and go on again. And I think there's an awful lot to be said for that. There are definitely some other rallies around that could look at it and try and get to that level of precision and run the event.
Because Osian, like every stage run to the minute, I would say, it was due to start. The organisers run fantastic rally. The surface area, like as we spoke before about, is like world class, and you can see why they're interested in applying for the European historics. Like that, the level and the organising point of view, second to none.
Yeah, just as Andy said, everything ran like clockwork, and there's something to be said about a service park that's there that can cater for everybody, and it's just a nice place to be. There's nothing. The amount of rallies I've been in, and the service park is kind of not safe, really. Sometimes, it does happen. I know people. Some rallies are limited, but when you turn up there, plenty of hard standing. Nobody's fighting over space. And then onto the rally itself, it had a mix of everything that we need. And one thing that I really enjoy is the dark. I mean, just typically like the stage that was dark was very, very tricky. But you don't see that too often these days. And back when I started doing the British Championship and stuff, every tarmac rally had a night stage or a loop even. So it's nice to have that just to shake things up a bit, because it just adds a bit of variability to the rally then.
Yeah, and like what is the thought process when you're pulling up to the start of a stage? When the pitch dark, is it just blink all that out and the lights is as good as daylight and you're fully tuned into the notes? Is there anything different you can do to prepare?
I'm not sure if you do anything different to prepare. I mean, a lot of people generally don't like the dark. I enjoy it just because it just adds another challenge, and there's another window of opportunity there to make a bit of time where someone else maybe isn't as confident. But yeah, I don't think I would do anything different really. You just got to be prepared for it. That's all. Make sure your lights are aiming the right way, and there's timing that really, and how precise you are with your lights depending on what the stages or the loops like. You'd set your lights up differently, obviously, but no, it's just the same thing really. It's probably the one good thing is in the dark you can't see the drops.
Because Andy, the one of the stages you were doing in the dark was through the forest park there, and like it is quite hairy in daylight. So I dread to think what it must be like in the dark.
Yeah, it's a narrow stage as well, and it's so narrow. It's up and down. It's blind. You're in the dark then obviously as well, and it is a very, very tough stage. I remember actually it was the first stage. I started rallying with a friend of mine, and we did 3 or 4 rallies together, and it was the first time I ever went off with a different driver, a driver that I didn't know, and I went off to do the gullying stages at the time. I remember doing it in heavy fog, and being completely lost in the notes on top of it, not knowing what was going on, and then suddenly hitting these jumps flat out and all the rest of it. I'll never forget it. So I probably have bad memories of the stage from then, back in 2008 or 9 or whatever it was. But yeah, ever since then, to me, it's always been a tough stage, and definitely at night time. All we were missing now was just a nice good thunderstorm or something to really finish it off.
We had that. Was that last year? The rain was horrendous. But then as well, I often say we need to bring rally into the people, and that was one thing that Ulster done, bringing it into the boulevard and Banbridge. Probably a hassle for crews to come in and have to hang about for 10 or 15 minutes, but the crowd that was about there, nice to see the way of attracting eyeballs to the sport that maybe wouldn't bother any other time.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree. Myself, I as you know, I'm kind of involved in Wexford Rally and organising it, and for what's worth, I think that's very important to bring people involved in it. You talk about trying to get sponsors, talk about trying to get extra people to watch the events and all that kind of stuff, and get more people involved in the sport. If you're going to hide it away on back roads 24/7, you're never going to get people to kind of buy into it. Yes, it is definitely a hassle. Most of us are not too interested in doing town stages. You're not really interested in doing regroups in the middle of towns and that kind of stuff. But for the betterment of the sport, I think that's what needs to happen, and get people out into the towns. I think town councils like it. They're willing to put a few bob towards it, and if it's a few bob into the sport, and what you have to do in return is drive into somewhere like the Boulevard, jump out of the car for 20 minutes, chill out, have a bit of a chat with the lads. I don't end up signing anything or taking pictures. Maybe Osian maybe gets requests for a few autographs or pictures. But if that's what you have to do, I think it's the right thing. And I think definitely a couple of rallies like the Ulsters, a couple of other rallies that do have that fairly well cracked, where they're able to bring the event to different towns or villages and just get a few more people involved. And if out of that all you get is a half a dozen young people who say, I wouldn't mind knowing a bit more about that, and they go off and look up the website or get involved in marching, I think that's a job well done. So for sure, I'm 100% for all of that.
Yeah, because like Osian, like, the mayor was there and raised the flag as you were going over the ramp and all. Like, it might not seem like a lot to us, but for him, that's a photo opportunity that that plays well with for what the job he wants to do, and that in turn then will get they'll fund the motor club. We need money coming into the sport. It's not, we can't be all take.
No, exactly. I only know how rallies do it over here. It's a big undertaking for a club to put an event on. The manpower needed, and not to mention the support of people, residents, and people that aren't rally people, really, if I'm honest. So by sort of showcasing what it is, and what a great sport it is in a normal public environment, it's only a good thing, really. That, and as you say, taking the rally to the people, and what better way to do it than a big shopping centre like that. And it was, I mean, at the end of the day, for us, we'd finish the loop. We'd more than likely go into a regroup anyway. So you may as well have a regroup in a built up area where there's something to see, and people can come and see the cars rather than being tucked away, just waiting there on our own for 20 minutes. You may as well just sort of interact and tell people what it's about.
Excellent, yeah. And then as well as that, then too, like, you come away with second overall, good fight with Callum, and also we should mention Declan Boyle. Like, at 50 years of age, he's still there like a young fella. He's like, he was getting such a buzz out of that, like matching yourself and Callum over the course of the 12 stages. The man has a zest for rallying, it's unbelievable, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has a few more miles done, and he has, to be fair, like, he has a few more Sunday dinners than me. But no, fair play. I think I was chatting to Callum and at the weekend, and we were like, fair play. He's a very, as a family, they're a very, very big supporter of rallying, and in Ireland especially. And it was good to see. It was good to see someone else throw their hat in the ring, really, I guess, because you always get your usual suspects like Callum and Josh and the usual boys. But no, I think he stepped it up a peg, to be fair to him. I certainly on the first stage wasn't willing to go that far with the risk tally, but no, I think, okay, the stages on Saturday suited us more, but I think pressure was on for him in terms of the co-driver side of things between Andy and Patrick as well. So no, fair play. It's good to see, and it's nice to see that the sport isn't actually a young man's or a young woman's game.
Yeah, because we know like how much the boys put into it through their business and the McCafferty's bars and all, but Declan's pushing hard. Unfortunately, Michael had his trouble. Matthew's the common star really as well too.
Yeah, the lads are flying. Yeah, I think the reason for it, they wanted to go to Ulster because they wanted a good warm up for Wexford. Three of them coming down. Just to mention
he has to come down there to defend his crown, obviously, as well too.
Yeah, he has to defend his crown, exactly. Yeah. I'll actually put it down to I think Declan's gone very well in the last 12 months. I reckon it's either because of he had me sitting in the Galway summer, or because he came to Wexford and won it. One or the other. So.
Or a combination of both.
Either way, there's an extra connection. But no, in fairness to Declan, definitely he's gelled with the Skoda very well, and it's great to see actually, because he had been at the forefront of it for so long, and just there probably for a year or two, it felt like it wasn't working for him, and it's great to see him back at the top of the timesheets again with the Skoda, and again, obviously not just Ulster but like ALMC on Sunday as well. He's flying again, so it's brilliant to see. And to be fair to the lads, that's a serious commitment what they're doing, running 3 top cars every week, doing the 2 championships. I think, to be fair to them, that's something that should be applauded. That's a serious backing into the sport in every sense as well. They're doing a lot more than just centering rallies behind the scenes as well. So I think fair play to the 3 lads, and 3 nicer lads you couldn't meet as well, to be fair to them.
That's for sure. And then Osian, looking forward now to the next event, the Ceredigion, only a couple of weeks away really. A rally very close to your heart. But it's fantastic the way the rally has come in a very short time to being one of the premier events in the European Rally Championship.
Yeah, you're right. It's nice to see the progression. I did the very first one. and it was literally an idea really from a couple of experienced rally lads in the local area, and here we are, like however many years later, and it's probably one of the biggest sporting motorsport events in the UK, and we lost Rally GB, which was a shame, but obviously this is proving to be the next best thing really, and it's nice to have it so close to home. And it's an event that I've won twice in the past, but I'm looking for a third, but I'm not sure. I'll do my best to see if we can do a third this year. I definitely made a mess of it last year, and it wasn't going to happen. But no, look, I'm looking forward to it. And again, back to what we were chatting earlier. They're very supportive. The council's very supportive. I've been around personally with some of the other drivers doing school visits, and every year, you get schools asking, "Oh, can you come to our school?" And you get so many people sort of interacting with you just because you've been to their school, or you've signed their child's school uniform or something like that. But again, it's a rally very close to my heart. Awesome stages, and the way that the events ran from the very first edition really has just been faultless. So the weather's usually great. We had a bit of rain last year, so it'd be nice if it stays dry this year, keep the job a bit simpler for everybody. But no, looking forward to it. We've had a good sort of test run, if you like, with competition, running against Callan and Declan and the boys. It's really made me think. We've got a good platform to work on here with the Hyundai and the team and C&M and everybody. And I've enjoyed the last rally, and I'm really looking forward to it as well. You always say that, everybody says they're looking forward to it, and it's kind of an overused phrase. But after sort of the 12-18 months that I've had, not really enjoying the stresses of putting a season together, it's just nice to go out now and do my home rally. I've got a car underneath me that I enjoy driving. I've got Andy, in the hot seat, who's very experienced and a good pair of hands to help me along as well with the experience. And yeah, it looks like we've got a decent package there that can do the job now. I've just got to press the pedals and turn the steering wheel at the right time.
Andy, it makes it sound very simple, but your first time to carry it again, I'm sure you've been the same as myself. You've looked at it from the outside, and it looks an absolutely cracking event.
It does, yeah. Well, for me, it's probably a big step, to be honest with you. I've done a few rounds of WRC and the ERC before, but never anything at this kind of level, to be honest. I spent a good few years around the championship with Craig and that, and doing gravel and that, but actually to jump in, it'll be the first time at this kind of level for me. So number one for me is not to make a mess of it. But no, it does look like a very nice event. It looks similar enough to what we have at home here. It looks nice and quick, which is kind of what I enjoy. And the weather, I think, has been reasonably good the last few years. So hopefully we get a kind of a decent enough turnout for that. And it's just been nice to be kind of, at the sharp end of European Championship event. And I'm looking forward to that part of it. And to see what we can do. I was just saying to Osian last night, one thing I'm missing is a nice European trophy. So that'd be nice to come home with some description.
No pressure, Osian.
Well, I'm missing it as well. I've got two Ceredigion wins. I'd like to be the first man to take 3 wins on the event, but I don't know. There is another certain individual. I don't know when this podcast is coming out, but obviously that's going to be announced very soon. It's probably fairly common knowledge to people in the know, but we're both on 2 wins apiece. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But no, I'll give it a good go anyway. I'm just happy that I'm there in a car that I'm going to enjoy driving, and all the ingredients are there. But as you know, everything's got to go right on the day, and hopefully we'll roll the dice and our numbers come up, and we'll be away.
And Andy, I have to give you the very last word. The Wexford Rally, tell us more.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's a great warm up for Osian, and the big announcement is that he'll be in Wexford the following weekend to do 18 stages across 2 days, 3x3 loops both days, €15,000 prize money. So more prize money than Ceredigion, more stage mileage than Ceredigion, more stages than Ceredigion. So, I have to say it's a big event. And we have about 180 entries all in total. So it will be a full entry at this stage. The entries are open for another week. So if anyone's listening to this and thinking of doing Wexford, please do get your entry in before Friday week. And you will be seated as normal. There will be a reserve list, so if you leave it past that, you will be automatically on reserve. So please do get your entry and get it paid by Friday next week. It does look like a pretty good, strong entry. As I said, the three boys are in and a couple of other top seeds. So hopefully it'll be a nice competitive rally. And things are shaping up pretty well at the minute for it. So in terms of marshals, if anyone would like to come down to Marshall, we do a nice package for the marshals, a nice marshals draw and that type of stuff as well. So, for sure, we're always looking for extra help. So, by all means, if you're interested in coming down to Sunny South East for 2 days, come on down. You'll be well looked after. And there's a free barbecue and a free drink for every person that makes it back to Park Ferme on a Sunday evening as part of the after rally party. So, try your best to get down to Wexford, do your 18 stages, get back to Park Ferme, and someone's going to hand you a quarter pounder and a pint of Heineken, and there's not much better than that.
So if anybody hasn't heard about the Wexford Rally, Andy will make sure everybody is well aware of what's going on, and what an opportunity. A free pint and a burger at the end of the rally, sure, it's a no-brainer. Best of luck to the two guys. I know for Ceredigion now in a couple of weeks too. I really think that's going to be one of the highlights of the rally calendar this year. And then finally now we're going to catch up with Aidan Long from Rally Masters, going to be based out of Killarney Race Course. What can we say? It's looking as if it's going to be something very special. Limited to Group B, Group A and the early WRC cars. Like some of the cars that Aidan's going to mention now just puts the hairs up in the back of your neck. And also not just the cars, but some of the drivers is going to come along then too as well. It's going to be pretty epic. So let's hear from Aidan.
Yes, we're very excited. Myself and Mike Shea earlier in the year were kind of tinkering with the idea back since, I suppose, nearly March or April. And we got chatting about what cars were around Ireland, and you'd Rally Legends going on in Italy, and you'd all when I had the Legacy and the Group A Impreza, there wasn't much kind of like these events on, and I'd love to have gone to them if they were on. So it's a long haul to go to Italy, and then I did bring the Legacy over to the UK for one event for Shelsey Walsh Hill Climb. But it's a long spin. I'm saying, like, there's so many WRC cars in Ireland. Surely we could get something going. So we kind of, Mike O'Shea started ringing around a few people he had in his phone book, and because I was big into the Subaru WRCs and I was restoring them, and kind of I had a lot of contacts that I was getting parts of, and so I started ringing him and said, if we did an event, would you be interested in coming? And there was a massive appetite for it. So that's basically how we got the ball rolling on it. And then we kind of, Mike is in Kerry District Motor Club, or KDMC, and he kind of mentioned, got onto the idea of them getting involved. So he got onto the race course, and the last time the race course was used when Colin McRae was over in the March West Court back in the day, and they did the night before they did a bit of a special stage there, and he called the race course, and the race course gave us the thumbs up. So then we kind of got we had a lot of groundwork done already, so we just got back onto the people we'd already been onto. Said, look, it looks like we can get something going, and we checked out about insurance, and Kingfisher Insurance came back and they said, gave us price for the insurance, and I said, look, if it's a charity event, Mike O'Shea is an affiliation or interest with Jack and Jill and the Laura Lynn Children's Foundation. So Kingfisher Insurance came back and said, look, we'll sponsor the insurance for free as well for the charity event. So that was a great start straight away. It was a big saving. So we just got to start going. So we started bringing in a few other people. I knew Bones of Conor. I rang him, and he helped run the Billy Coleman celebration, and got on to Tim Clifford, or Mike Shea got on to Tim Clifford, and Tommy Randall's in Kerry Sport Club, and we just got the ball rolling. And next thing, it snowballed, and geez, we've a capacity entry now of like really high quality cars, and it's going to happen. So we're very excited.
Excellent, because we all remember the Tiger days, and there was all this chat that Ireland had more WRCs per head of capita than anywhere else in the world. like all those cars just disappear overnight. They're probably
Here,
in sheds or garages.
we were surprised that so many of them are still there because just one example now was just Ray Breen's old Metro, the green and yellow and red one. That's kind of dispute off scene. And we ran around and he said, "Oh, Willie Dwyer has it. It was in a fridge container body at the back of his house for the last 21 years." So I rang him and said, "Yeah." He said, "Geez, I'd definitely be interested in doing that." And I took it out, brought it up to Tom Gahan's, and they're doing the time belt now. And that car will be first time in literally 21 years. I pulled out of a hedge, but body container. But you know, it's great. And Franco Manni is putting his car out and getting it sorted. And these cars haven't been seen in ages. Like WRC Focus, the cars that are coming are unbelievable, and there's most of them are coming from Ireland. There's probably 4 or 5 people coming on the ferry from the UK, but everything else is all here basically.
Yeah, because like we you know, me and you are of a generation that we had these cars. Like, and we kind of almost took them for granted because there were every rally we went to, while it was around the Northern Ireland Championship, the National Championship, Tarmac Championship, there was guys out, and they might have been running number 30 in the road, but they had the latest spec WRC car.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. I saw where the budget was coming from, but these are expensive. And look, I suppose if the they were expensive at the time, but if they'd hung on to them, the value of them now has gone. So of particular ones has gone through the roof. But I think it's great. Most of the owners now are very enthusiastic about it. And like some of them are going to great lengths, and like it's a charity event, but a lot of the owners of these cars are going to great expense in bringing the cars here, and some of them are spending money on getting them going, putting them back in the original livery, and it's a credit to them, and it's all for charity, which is great. So we have a great head start now. We've set probably nearly 70% of all the tickets sold in Eventbrite, and I would encourage people that are going. We do machinery spare parts business, and there's always fitters and mechanics into the counter, and they're all, the rally thing we'll be down to Killarney, and there's myself and Mikey and there's 8 of us going. I say, "Oh yeah, perfect, great, to get your tickets." "Oh no, should we get them? We'll get them in a couple of weeks." But you want to be getting them because like we're actually limited. So
once they're gone, they're gone.
There's 70% of them gone. So and there's only 2 weeks gone. There's 5 weeks to go. So. Yes. If you haven't bought your tickets, just don't get caught out because we are, even for health and safety, we're limited to the amount of spectators that are there. So buy your tickets as soon as you can because it's only 20 hours and all proceeds are going to
Laura Lynn and Jack Gill.
And Laura Lynn.
Yeah. So. And like as you say, like the drivers and the owners of these cars, like to get them recommissioned, to get them up and running, it's not a simple procedure. So they're making that effort.
Metro now has been part of 21 years, so you're looking at timing belts, recommissioning, even before you fire it up, like just all the brakes are possibly seized. So it's literally just really strip it apart basically and just put it back together slowly, and hopefully everything goes well. But look, I think a lot of people are using it as an excuse to just they had it on a long finger.
Yeah.
And a lot of cars were 90% restored, and now we say, look, you've 6 or 8 weeks.
Here's a target to go for.
Here's a target. Get it together, and it's working well because a lot of people are ringing back, and they are getting it done. And I rang a guy last week. I was saying, look, even Willie Dwyer's car over saying, there was a crowd wanted to come over from the UK and film it as a barn find, and the kind of whatever. But it was look, he said, no, we'll just drive on and get it going fast we can. Because,
And not only is there going to be some epic cars there, there's going to be some of the drivers from the previous years as well.
Yes, Patrick Snares is coming, and he's driving the crowd Fionn Sport to run my M3. Finbar Conor, he bought an M3 that he's going to be a full Group A M3 that he's going to be renting out, and going forward, he doesn't drive himself, but he basically, if he's running my car, it's easy for him to have a car to rent out. But he was getting that ready, and it's great. And next thing, I said, what if Schneider's is coming? I said, yeah, look, we put it back in the original Isle of Man livery, because everybody knows on YouTube that famous video of Patrick Schneider's in the Isle of Man in the Castrol Bastos livered M3. It's an epic video. So we have the car going for sign writing next Tuesday. It's going back in the livery. We got I was searching everywhere. Everybody's rallying M3s in the country at the moment, but I was looking for the specific type of alloy wheel that was on the Snares car time. It's a Pro Drive mag wheel, 5-spoke. I mean, the speedline versions, but John O'Donnell, who rallies M3, had some genuine Pro Drive wheels above, and the wheels on the early M3s, it was a 16-inch wheel on the front and a 17-inch wheel on the rear, because they were pre-Evo, so the front wheel opes weren't big enough for a 17-inch wheel on the front. So if you see any early Pro Drive cars like Fisher's or Dennis, Dennis Cronin's one, or any of them, they have a 16-inch wheel on the front and a 17 on the back. So we have Schneider's car set up, or Schneider's replica car. But not only that, GXI 9427, owned by Dennis Cronin, which was Schneider's car.
Yeah.
It was also Bertie Fisher's car. It was also Megan's car and Nesbitt. So Joe Connolly, or sorry, Bill
Connolly,
sorry, Rallies in R5, in the BP colour. So that's probably the most famous BMW ever, and that car is famous from the Tour de Course. WRC was BMW was 4 points in the WRC back in the day. So I will be there as well, believe it or not. So Dennis is bringing that along. So we'll have a lot of history there. So actually, if Nesbitt comes to the event, you'll have that BMW there. Snyder's will be there. I think Bill Connolly's on about calling over. Dennis Cronin, and you have all the drivers.
And Billy Coleman drove the car at some point as well.
Billy Coleman actually rallied that car. Sorry.
Yes.
Billy will be driving the Rotmans, my Rotmans M3 at the event, and he might sit into a 6R4 for a spin as well. So rally back in the day. So
and Billy, at the end of Donegal 2022, we had the celebration, at the Rossapena Hotel, and Billy took great delight in getting into Sam Moffat's Fiesta WRC. He just was looking around in complete amazement at all these buttons and things, wondered what they were all doing, and to see somebody from that generation get into at that stage a current car and just been taking great delight. We kind of tend to forget that these guys are rally nerds like the rest of us too.
Yeah. Billy obviously it was the anniversary of him winning the British Championship, and it was a Bones O'Connor ran that fundraiser
celebration night,
and it went very well. But one of the prizes was Billy taking someone for spinning in my car. But we booked out Watercressel go-kart track, and we arrived up, and Billy came along, and modest again, he was like, "Oh, sure, you should be driving this. One of the lads should be driving this. Whatever." I said, "Look, Billy, come on, got him seated up, belted up," and I was going, "Is this going to be a disaster or what?" No, because Billy's 78. I was saying, is it going to be whatever? But literally after 3 or 4 laps, he was literally flying. I was on the first lap, I was missing a few gears and stuff at the start, just getting into it. But then he took a good few for spins, and but by the time he came to taking the last person for a spin, he was like, "Oh, will you sit back in with me again?" I just wanted, because the first, at the start, I wasn't too whatever, but I sat back in. But mother of God, it was quick, very quick. And brakes extremely late, locking the wheels and stuff. He goes very, very deep into the corners. He's actually good to watch, and he's just last minute just gives it a flick. But he's definitely talented. His son was actually telling me they went to Mercedes AMG in Germany. Had this invite where they brought over, if you had an AMG Mercedes, they invite you over for a track day with all the other people in some track in Germany. So Billy Coleman's friend, he owns a factory. He has an AMG Merc anyway, so he was invited with a guest. So he rang Billy, said, "Oh, you come along with me to this AMG thing in Germany." So Billy came along anyway. This was only a year or two ago, and it was lashing rain on the track anyway, and it was all, there was about 20 drivers taking part. It was Germans in their 20s and 30s and all different kind of lads. But next thing, Billy Coleman was setting fastest times in the west track from AMG 63 Merc, and they're all like, "Who is this guy?" They didn't know him at all, So they're all on YouTube looking him up. All videos of Billy Coleman. But even the instructors, he was setting the fastest times in the pouring rain, and some AMG Mercedes over. That was only 2 years ago, so kind of fun story.
What is it? They say talent is timeless, isn't it?
Timeless. You have it or you don't have it, but that's definitely they'd all be about seat time. But I just noticed that about Billy, he hadn't driven in 10 or 12 years when he sat into my M3, and literally after 5-10 minutes, he was like, in fact, at the end of the day, I was like, "Billy, pull in," because he was like round and around. And so to be fair, no, it didn't take him much convincing to come. That was only a couple of months ago, so it didn't take him much convincing to come down to Killarney, because I'd say he kind of got a taste for there in Warga still, so I think he's happy. He's not, he's comfortable. Yeah.
And as well as that, the cars you've talked about, we're going to have Group B, Group A, and early WRC and like that is just an era of just gives me delight. You know, the names I'm thinking of. Nissan 240s, Metros, Quattros.
The newest ERC car we'd have would probably be Mick O'Brien's bringing Ken Block's Fiesta. So
Yes.
it'll be the kind of the limit we were going up to. So very significant. It was Moffat's, and a few people had it. Valentino Rossi drove that car as well.
Yes.
So yeah, that's it. Like, we are kind of being plagued with some people going, "Can I bring this car and that car?" And they are like, people are asking to bring nice cars, but we can't, because it's
You have a certain criteria.
we have a couple of Group N cars, because Group N was of the time as well.
Right.
So Kieran McAnallen's Tough Mac Evo. I mean, he's Mr. Tough Mac. He's, you know,
Yes.
Bertie Fisher's sponsor for his name. You said Bertie Ahern there. Bertie Fisher's sponsor. There's a lot of sponsors for Bertie Ahern.
Yes. But that was also a car that Mark Fisher drove as well, too.
Yes, correct. Yeah. And it'd be great. Like, it's a great to have him there, because everybody remembers him back in Killarney, because he always travelled around with Bertie Fisher and Mark. You know, even when Bertie rolled the Impreza going up Malls Gap, the silver. Yeah. Impreza at the very first stage of the Lakes 1 year, he was there with the lads pulling the car out of the ditch and stuff. So, no, he's coming down now, and that's great. And I suppose, we have a couple of F2 maxi cars as well, so, you know, because they were, you know, and I suppose a standout one would be the Clios back in this. We've an S1600, so, you know, maxi Clio proper X-Works one coming as well, and we've David Randall's in the he's a X-Works Almira,
yes,
the NME Reg, whatever it's
about. So, and then
just again, because they're cars that wouldn't be rallying, and they're really high revving cars, and they're just
the noise.
It's just.
Because it's, you know, like, don't get me wrong, cars now fantastic, really fast. Like, probably we're in that, you know, we're in the real purple parts of rallying. But like, we think back the Metro 6R4, that noise, you know, the Mantas, the Nissan 240s, the Quattros, like the noise that those cars made. You knew what was coming long before you ever seen it.
There's one Quattro coming, actually. The owner, it's just shy 700 horsepower. That'd be interesting. Even just hearing that, you know. Yeah. Now the track, as you're on the grandstand looking onto the tarmac track, the cars come past you, and there's like a chicane, so they'll be coming hard up, braking hard and through, so you'll get the anti-lag, and there'll be, you know, you get a good sense of what's, you know, what the sound is like, you know. So yeah, so everybody will probably do 2 runs, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, but it'll be you'll be walking around checking out the cars, and it'll be just constantly
cars going, yeah.
604, and very different kind of cars. Everybody remembers the noise of 604. It's very unique, and really high pitch kind of V60 whine off, but like, you know, it'll be great, you know, I'd say, and some younger of the younger generation, when you see like these, you know, the R100s, and we've a Peugeot 205 TI16 coming, Tannehill's ringing that down, so, you know, the whole back clamshell opens up at the back, and you can see everything. It's a completely different car, like, but it'll be really cool to see them all together. We've Lancia 037 as well, and, you know, we purposely didn't put out the entry list, because there's a sense of, you know, it goes slow build up, but it will be. So we will release the whole thing soon enough. But like, people know, if people know Mike O'Shea and myself, and you know, we're very picky on what we. There is one, like, we have the 3-door Sierra Cosworth now. We've Eamon Boland's old Hertz one, and there's the Don Butler's one. There's 4 or 5 of them coming, but there's an unusual RED built Sierra. It's like a 5-door Sierra 4-wheel drive that was built back in the day, but it's pretty successful. But it's just an unusual, but it's great. But that's coming as well, because it's just a bit of a unique thing, just to be, you know,
something unique to itself.
Exactly. I actually did it back in the day, so, you know, there's a lot of them kind of.
And again, Aidan, like, yes, people need to get on now and get their tickets. No point leaving this to the last minute, because, you know, as that's what they say, when they're gone, and don't.
You're going anyway, so get us sooner or later. Killarney is the other thing I would say to people as well. Killarney is actually, like, I was thinking 27th September, all the kids are back to school. There'll be no bother with accommodation, because Killarney has umpteen hotels, but Killarney is very heavily booked that weekend. There's like Killarney's heavily booked every weekend by the looks of it. There's poker tournament on in the Gleneagle Hotel, and there's Tralee races on up the road. So just people just get just be organised. Don't get cut out, basically. Is what I'm saying.
And it's Eventbrite. It's the website to go
Eventbrite
on,
is
and it's all very simple to
there's different categories of prices. You have 25 for a general admission. I think it's a tenner for kids between the ages of 10 and 16, and then under 10s are free or whatever. So it's all there anyway. And you can buy a family ticket as well, which is handy because we do have a good bunch of families coming. So as well.
And I suppose then, final question: if this year proves a success, could you see this becoming like an annual event?
Yeah, without doubt, yeah. To be honest, like there's actually people panicking, saying, ringing up, going, "Oh my God, I'm actually not around this weekend, and I have this car. If I don't come this year, will this affect my chances of getting invited the following year?" I was like, "No, you're grand. We'll start something." Well, there's already people want to sign up for next year, and we haven't even ran the first one yet. So I think yes, I think it will be an annual event. Definitely, I'd say, yeah, and I think it's something that's going to get bigger and better. But it's going to be for the genre cars that we specify. I think because I know there's Mark 1 S Course, Mark 2 S Course, all great cars. I had Mark 1s and Mark 2s myself, but there's plenty of events for them. Like there's a rally on. Like
every weekend.
This weekend, basically, there's no events for WRC cars, and there's no events for Ruby cars and that kind of stuff. So we'll stick to the plan for now and for next year maybe. And look, who knows? Maybe if it goes a lot bigger, you have more room. But I think for now we'll just stick to the way we're to ratchet. I think people won't be disappointed to come down. I think you're going to. Except I always kind of, in my head, when you go to Killarney Rally Lakes, if you're competing or even spectating, my favourite part of even spectating the Rally Lakes is going to the service area in Killarney, Lieber, and it's concentrated, and you walk around and all the cars are there and they're in and out of service and you can get right up close. I know they're not racing, but we'll have that added thing where you will be looking around the cars, but then you'll be able to hear and see.
To meet the heroes as well, yeah.
The race course is ideally set up for it because you have the cars apart and you have a white picket fence and you have a bit of grass and your tractors there, so you're literally just, Yeah. And we'll have big screens put in and cameras and everything. So when the cars go outside around the back, you'll see everything. Like, and you'll have as the cars come off, quick interview the drivers on the big screen and just a bit of history about all the cars and whose cars they were previously and XYZ history. So look, for any rally and for any rally buff, it's a
must see.
Must see. Yeah. And also, we said we do it on a Saturday instead of a Sunday, so the drivers can chill out afterwards, and we're going to the Plaza Hotel afterwards, and there's a buffet and a few pints. The drivers will be there. Spectators can come in if they want to have a pint, and they'll all be there. There's no rush. Get up the following day at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and load the car and cruise away home. Sunday, like people will be all leaving afterwards, and it would be the same. So having it on a Saturday is just very chilled out and very relaxed. So it should be good.
So thanks very much there to Aidan. We'll put a wee description or a wee link to the link for the tickets in below here and below the podcast. So if you'd like to get their tickets, please, as Aidan says, when they're gone, they're gone. So yeah, act quickly. So that's the latest episode of Krunching Gears, the Rally podcast. Until the next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.
That's the proudest day and the proudest time and the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.